Loyal listeners, here we are. It's your podcast near and far. But wait, there's only two of us. That's because Brandon got hit by a bus. So instead, why not take a peek? It's Ethan and Chris rolling duo this week. Hey guys, welcome back to Stack. It is Ethan and Chris today. The elephant that isn't in the room, Brandon, is unfortunately not able to attend this evening. What's he doing, Ethan? He's got training today, right?
He's training to be a team lead at Knott's Berry Farm. I'm not sure what that entitles. I don't know if he's still. I think he's trying to be a leader at the log ride or something. You know, the famous Knott's log ride, or I don't know. But his training classes are this week, and that he's going to be working there every night. So we couldn't really fit him into our stack schedule tonight. So we decided we already took off a week for Halloween. I know. We said on Twitter that Brandon got his limbs removed for his Larry the Cucumber costume, but it was really, we record on Monday nights, and we were just, that's Halloween's, and we were out partying, so we didn't want to record an episode stacked. But we didn't want to skip 2 weeks in a row, so Chris and I are here to just catch up, talk about life in the world, and just the world's what's happening in the world right now. We could talk about that. We could talk about what's happening in our lives right now. Shit's happening.
Yeah.
If you talk about movies and just talk about whatever. So yeah, I think. What do you want to talk about, Chris? We can talk about so much.
Earlier today when I was thinking about this, I thought a fun topic we could do is I call it a segment called Movies We Like, where we just talk about the shared movies that we both really like, ideally specifically ones that Brandon might not share the same opinion on.
And I know one right at the top.
I know the big one. Why don't we start there?
Start there.
Okay, you're the dude. Why don't you lead us in?
Well, one movie Chris and I both like is The Big Lebowski, and I feel like it's been really fun to see you gain this appreciation for this movie. Because I know when I first showed it to you, you're like, I like that movie,
Yeah.
But then I could tell it slowly crept in on you and slowly started influencing the way you think, and
absolutely,
and the way you feel about the world. Same can't be said for Brandon. Yeah, the night I showed you guys this movie,
almost murdered him.
I almost fucking murdered him. The story is, so every night in college, not every night, I forgot what weeknight it was. I think it was Tuesday.
It was usually Tuesday, but we switched up every semester depending on what our schedule was.
Yeah. So in college, every once a night a week, we would have a movie night because, that's just when you're in film school, that's just a way for bonding, and just to get together, a good way to get together. Because we all love movies and we all love talking about movies, which is why we made this podcast. So we were like, hey, let's just have a movie night every week, and and the thing that we did, that we still do to this day, a little behind the scenes, after every episode of Stacked, we all still get together and we watch a movie over Discord.
Yep. But
we every week we rotate, so one person chooses the movie for that week that we get to show everyone. And my week, we used to do 2 movies back in the day because we started at 7 usually when we start recording Stacked, and then we'd have the whole night, so we'd usually have time for 2 1.5 hour long movies. So I went with a double feature of, and friends of the show Tori and Joey were there. I remember. I decided to show everybody Jim Henson's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure drugs were involved with this. A few of us got high to watch, and I've never watched Labyrinth high before, so I really wanted to see what that was like. So I put on.
I bet that must have been a trip.
It was a trip. Jim Henson's Labyrinth, which is so fun, and then The Big Lebowski, and I just remember, I feel bad talking about this because the man's not here to defend himself, but then again, I don't think there's anything to defend. I swear to God, he wasn't watching the movie. First of all, he was making a pizza in the kitchen, one of those Red Baron everything pizzas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking to us about he was looking at us, talking about us, how he didn't get the movie more than putting his eyes on the screen and watching the movie, and that
Yeah,
just
I
really
remember that.
irritated me. And I think that was the most I've ever like actually been mad at him around everyone else. So I was like,
I remember
Brandon,
Tori in specific was
Tori was
like
scared.
Yeah, because you were like, "Shut the fuck up,"
It's like, Brandon, shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
and Tori was like,
But
yeah,
then it
no,
was
I
good.
remember that very well too.
So, Chris, as someone, I have like, I don't remember a time where I haven't known like that. I don't remember the first time I saw this movie.
Uh-huh.
It's always been a movie that, because my mom and dad love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They would just always play it when I was growing up, and it was the one movie that's like, there's this one movie that's like, when it's on TV, everyone will stop and sit down to watch it, you
Yeah.
know? And that's The Big Lebowski for my family. So,
Mm.
like, we've always known it, but I want to hear it coming from you. Like, what is your experience like? What, like, your expectations of the movie, like going into it, and then just how it's like stuck with you,
Right. Well, when I first watched it, I knew that it was going to be good because I knew it was a Joel Cohen film, and I trust that guy very highly. Um, but I've had heard that The Big Lebowski is like an iconic piece of like Americana comedy. So that was really all the expectations I had, and I knew that you liked this movie a lot, but I didn't really dive into like the philosophical understanding of this movie until quite a while after I had already seen it. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, it's a movie with a lot of these little like in a way, I feel like the way that I saw this movie was exactly the way that it was intended because I watched it and I was unbelievably confused by the plot. I had no idea what the fuck was going on, but it was funny as hell. I loved all the bits. I love the characters. They're fun. They're colorful. So I had a good time with it, regardless of not purely fully understanding the film, which is kind of the idea once you really get into it.
Right.
And then as time has gone on, and I've revisited this film, um, and the times I've revisited this film, I've like I've grown a steady appreciation for like the the messaging of it. Specifically, of course, like it's about the dude and his whole thing with trying to navigate this crazy story. While all for him, all that matters is he just wants to what's the word like seek what's the word restitution, I guess, for his rug. But like at the same time, like at the deeper core of this movie is the story of a person being like unwavering in the face of like complete disarray, being able
Like,
to kind of like go about life at their own pace and not be swayed by things that like would otherwise affect them. And
right.
like I know that may like people some people might argue like, oh, ignorance is like bliss, is that what the message is? But I'm like, more so it's like more so for me at least it's a the idea behind this movie is to embrace like the meaninglessness of everything that it is we do.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that thing like, and I know that that's a whole like it's a whole thing to like talk about like meaninglessness being meaningful. And like I know that's an abstract idea, but I promise you like this movie is able to like dig into something that is such a universal idea because I feel like everybody at some point has thrown up their hands and just been done the whole like meh thing, in life.
Yeah.
And like, and that's something that speaks very closely to the time and like the time that this film is set in. And yeah, I think there's like a passivity to this film that is very relaxing to watch, but also like very reassuring. Like the opening of the film, like with the tumbleweed going across LA, like that's kind of just a metaphor for like who the dude is. Just a guy kind of going about, just kind of like, all right, it is what it is. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And there's a whole philosophical idea behind that of like nihilism and the optimism behind it rather than negativity. But yeah, that's largely why I love this movie so much. And put all of the philosophical talk aside because I could talk about that forever. This movie is just fucking hilarious. Like, like the characters are so fucking funny, and like the only movie I can think of that even somewhat compares to being as quotable is probably Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and like I don't know, this movie is just so fucking funny. Like I'm not kidding. I probably say a dude quote to myself in my head at least once a day.
Same here. It's just like, um, it's not really an ignorance is bliss,
Yeah.
movie. It's sort of the dude's sort of philosophy is like just accepting what is,
Hmm.
and which I think is a fantastic life lesson, where it's like, um, he's never, there are nihilists in the movie, and this film does like is sort of poke fun at sort of the um I would say postmodern nihilism, which is or like which has sort of become everyone's sort of um perceived definition of nihilism, where it's like nothing matters and
And
therefore
everything is sad.
everything sucks and it's sad. And you realize that that sort of mentality um comes from thinking that things aren't fair, therefore nothing matters, because the characters are set, those German nihilists say it's not fair, and Walter goes, fair, who's a fucking nihilist here, and you realize that's where sort of pessimistic nihilism comes from, whereas the nihilism that the dude expresses is like, it's not even like acknowledging that nothing matters, because that should just be a given. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, um he understands that like his place is to just be, and to just, like you said, just roll like a tumbleweed,
Mhm.
through Los Angeles. And that should be something that more people are okay with being, because
Yeah.
if you look back on human history, I would say like 99.999% of every single human being who has ever lived has not contributed anything.
Yeah. But at the same time,
But
that's okay.
that's okay, because that's just what we are. We're just like these weird, like, um
Sacks of meat.
yes, we're these weird sacks of meat where like this rock floating through space just ended up being in the perfect place with the perfect conditions that was able to make these chemical reactions that sprouted um this life, and then this life sort of kept mutating in different ways for it to survive and thrive, and that branched off to us, and somehow humans just got the stroke of luck to be able to learn how, like, to have a consciousness,
Yeah.
and to understand what they're doing, instead of every other animal, which is like they're just eat, sleep, survive, eat, sleep, survive. That's all they
Yeah.
know. We are now like we're like we're self-actualized,
Yeah.
and I think what this movie is trying to teach is like, yeah, cool, you're self-actualized. That means you can be a nice person, and that means you can enjoy your existence instead of having to like constantly be in fear that you're gonna die, you know? Um that's the gift we have of being conscious human beings, that we can enjoy the company of others and the company of just ourselves and the company of art, which is like, art has often been defined as just anything that's not um for the means of survival,
Yeah.
if you think about it, that's
In a
all
way,
art.
yeah. Art is just something that we don't need, if
Art,
that makes sense.
we don't need art, but we love art,
Yeah.
because it's, I don't know, like, why do we love art? Because it's it's interesting. It's cool to see that we can create, it's sort of our own god complex, that It makes us like we're in charge of creating something, and that's
Yeah.
meaningful to people. And like, that's cool that we're able to do that, and that's all that should really matter. Yeah, we have our problems, we have our issues, we have our moments where, uh someone pees on our rug, you know.
Or
And the
throws a
dude
marmot in our bathtub.
the dude just wants his rug back, like cuz he didn't bother anybody, throws a marmot, and like he sort of he never like gets too caught up in the drama of life, even though he's trying to solve this mystery. The only reason why he's trying to solve this mystery is because he just wants that thing that was his, that he
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are too caught up with um with like power,
Right.
control,
No, yeah,
and
absolutely.
being liked. I feel
Hmm.
like I feel like that can be the root of all problems in this world, is A, not enough self-love, B, which I mean, not enough self-love then in turn turns into the struggle to constantly want admiration from others,
Yeah.
which then can also turn into um the the taste for like power, you know.
Hmm.
Um but then you can see the dude as someone who he just enjoys what he has, and that's all of his stakes in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful life lesson to just navigate through life, is to realize that not to take everything so seriously, because you just focus on the things that you care about, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
The things
No,
that make
yeah.
you happy, the rug that fits in your room, that stuff. It's sort of like, it's sort of like, here, I'll tie it to a film that you love, that I like but I don't love. I think it ties into Soul, where
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
focus on the little things. The dude's just
Yeah.
focusing on his rug this whole movie. That's all he
Yeah.
cares about. And
Rug and bowling. And yeah, totally.
Soul is just teaching you, it takes on this mass journey, but it's like, take a moment to like think about, the leaves blowing down the street, or like your feet in
Hmm.
the sand, and how much of a sensation that is.
Totally.
Imagine the sensation of getting a rug that you feel like ties your whole room together, and how satisfying that is. Or bowling a perfect strike, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah. I love what you said earlier about how like it feels like this movie is so timeless as well, because it's a complete like like what's the word, like antithesis to the hustle culture, that I
Yeah.
feel like is so prevalent, especially in like the place that this movie takes place in, which is LA. Everybody who fucking lives here is trying to become the next big TikTok star, celebrity, whatever the hell. But
Yeah.
like, and like it's one of those things where like I understand that people have find value in things like that, and that's one thing. But like I don't know, I feel like there's a humanity to like the authenticity of just loving the moment, and not being caught up in like the pursuit of something so artificial or materialistic or one dimensional as that. Because yeah, I mean, like, you might get some level of pleasure from like fame, power, money, whatever the fuck. But like in terms of personal, emotional satisfaction,
Yeah.
that's something you can't buy. And that's something you can't earn. You have to learn to find it.
Right.
Which is what I think makes this movie so powerful. And also one thing I find really interesting about this movie as well is that like you said, Ethan, the dude throughout this movie is just looking for his rug. But he's not like it's not like all he's doing. He still goes bowling with his friends.
Yeah.
And like because it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do my routine and do my thing. Oh, and I got some time. I'm gonna go find this rug. And it's like he doesn't let things um trample on his tranquility. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he maintains like this perfect level of almost like drug fueled meditation in a way, where
Hmm.
he's like he just like he's so at peace with how things are and who he is, that nothing can really hurt him, other than like a mug that a police officer throws at him, which by the way is still so funny.
It's so funny.
It's
Ow! Fucking
fucking
fascist!
fascist.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because it's like, um, you don't see that in movies where it's like the main plot narrative, that is all that matters in that person's life. You
Yeah.
know? When you think of like action movies, you're like, is this like all you're spending like your time on? Like this is like their life has changed forever. They like this is all their life now, you know?
Yeah.
Or you see that and even like in dramas or like in romantic comedies, you're just like it's all just about this relationship. Like you're dropping everything else in your life for this.
Yeah, like when you see a rom-com, right? Yeah, you don't get like at least like even rarely even like one or two scenes of like the characters on their own doing something unrelated, like
Yeah.
to build them as individuals. And yeah, that's why that this movie also is just I love that it does that because it's like yeah, that like he would do that. Dude
Yeah.
will not derail his life for a rug. He'll try and find the rug and figure it
Yeah.
out, but he's not gonna fucking, uproot his entire fucking life over a rug because
Or even his car,
yeah.
you know?
Exactly. He just walks home.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
just
all right,
just walks
walking
home.
home.
He's
Yeah.
asking them if they got any leads. Leads. Check down with the crime lab. Got them working in shifts. It's so good.
But yeah. So that's why Ethan and I love The Big Lebowski so much. Brandon, if you are, I'm sure I feel like Brandon would listen to this just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Fuck you, Brandon. I'm just kidding.
Brandon, I understand why you might not feel the same way as Ethan and I do on this movie. I don't think this is your cup of tea, but at the same time, I feel like you really give this movie a chance. I think it could get you.
So it's funny because we were actually Brandon and I were just talking about this movie like a few days ago. I don't know how it came up, but he did tell me. He's like, I want to like this movie. He's just like, but I just don't get it. So maybe Brandon, if you're listening, maybe this will help you understand it more, you know? Fuck, we should have done like a commentary. We should do a commentary track to The Big Lebowski, you and me.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That would be
That'd
so
be so much
fucking fun. And maybe we could bring on even another Big Lebowski fan. We have Joey. Joey's a huge Big Lebowski fan. The three of us, I feel like we could concoct something good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a good installment of movies that we like. What's another movie we like, Chris? That we both.
I'm trying to think of like one that like specifically Brandon is not as warm on because I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to like share thoughts or a movie that Brandon loves and you and I just aren't into.
Yeah, let's call it his taste. I don't know.
I do have one I like to tease Brandon about. It blows my mind that Brandon is only like okay or like good with Harakiri.
Oh my god.
That one hurt me.
That one hurt me so much. That is like, granted, I have not seen that movie in a while.
Yeah.
But
same.
it is such like, I don't know, it's such a beautiful and just such a dynamically impressive movie that I watched this in fall of sophomore year. I took a history of the samurai class, and basically one of the biggest misconceptions about the samurai is, this Bushido code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like everyone thinks that like, oh, the samurai had this insane code of honor to honor their daimyo, their master. And if you don't follow that code, you have to either commit seppuku or like you have to become a ronin, which is a masterless samurai,
Yeah.
But what we learned in this class is like that's not true at all. They didn't have an honor code. They just simply operated in a certain way, and then that sort of mythos was formed around them,
Mm-hmm.
And I think this this movie does a really good job of sort of exposing sort of how imperfect the samurai were, because it's sort of like, it's this samurai he's about to be, he's sentenced to seppuku, and like then it's his time to sort of expose the rest, like the daimyo and the rest of this clan, right? If I remember correctly. Again, it hasn't been until since sophomore year of college since I've seen this movie, and I've seen a lot of stuff after that, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but it's just like, I don't know. It is up there with some of the best feudal Japan stories, up there with Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, and Ran, as like just something that it takes place in this time, but then it introduces this like insanely interesting dynamic and sort of and sort of deconstructs the mythos in a way that I really love, But Chris, why, like, what brings you, like, so what fascinates you so much about
I think like what I find, like you said, Ethan, like the movie does demystify and kind of like open up doors about like what it is a samurai truly is, because there's like should I say, like, culturally accepted image of a samurai, if you know what I mean,
Right.
like you said, but like what I find interesting is that the film invites the audience to consider the ideologies and traditions of this era long past, and like and contextualizing it as a through an active discussion on the like the value of honor against like honor against care for others, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like throughout the plot, that'll make more sense if you watch the film. But for anyone listening, I don't want to spoil it too much. Yeah, it's a very like it's a surprise. It's such a humanitarian film for me because I love the way it explores like tradition and value through these age old practices, but also like it's still universal in their messaging.
Right.
And yeah, that's why Harakiri works for me. And like, granted, I haven't seen this movie since middle of 2020. This is like I was still in Hong Kong. I think I was in Hong Kong when I watched this. But yeah, that is a great movie. Brandon gave it 3.5, which isn't bad. 3.5 is still good.
Yeah, but it's just like, this is like an
4 at least.
It's an all-time great,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, there's a 4 at least for me. What else is? I don't know. What other movies can we talk? Or should we? Do you have a topic specifically that you want to talk about?
I don't know. Let's talk about fucking. Okay, let's talk about the Powerball.
Sure, why not?
Because this has been on my mind lately.
Yeah, go for it.
Because if for those of you who don't know, the Powerball is happening on tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow. It's the eve of the Powerball, and Chris and I have gone in on this, this sort of investment with the rest of our friend group. Our friend Justin has purchased a large amount of tickets for the Powerball. I think it's like $100 worth of tickets,
60.
Which is
like
120
right now.
120.
Yeah,
and like a ticket is like
invested 10.
One ticket's like $2 or something, $2 or $4.
Yeah, it's not crazy expensive.
So we're going all in on this one. It's $1 billion. And I don't know. I just want to. I've been talking with my girlfriend. I've been talking with Brandon. It's not gonna happen.
No.
It's like,
no.
We have a higher chance of dying from heart disease than winning the Powerball.
We have a higher chance of all of us getting hit by lightning at the same time, like right now.
But
chance is a chance.
The chance is a chance, and I think Brandon and I did the math. We would if we won, I think each of us would get around $50 million. And I want to put you on the spot. What would you do?
All right. Number one, any debts that my family has get settled immediately. All of them. They're all done. Second, I would see, the thing is, okay, this sounds bad, but like, actually, well, maybe not bad, but like maybe smart. But like, the thing I realized about like having that level of amount of money, I can probably live the rest of my life pretty comfortably without having to work, And like, that's not to say that I'm just gonna give up on my life and just like chill out for the rest of my life. I want to do something in my life still, but like, it would prompt a lot of like reconsideration about like where I'm going in my life, considering I now have access to something that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
And so like that would, if I'm being honest, that'll probably mean drop out of school, start up a job or something around here, or maybe buy a house or an apartment. Probably a house, honestly. I got 50 mil. And then just like it, like, and I definitely would not like just blow every dollar I have. I would probably invest or like save a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
But like, nonetheless, we're partying. We're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
We're going to we are booking like penthouse in Vegas.
You're gonna gamble it all away. You're like, I can make more. Vegas has changed you, Chris.
But I think we would go enjoy. Like, I would probably like. I feel like all of us would just be like, "Fuck this shit. We're gonna like this weekend. We're going to Vegas or some shit." And then, we get the hotel room. We all go have a great time. I don't know, like just have a like. I'd probably like spend a lot of money, just like maybe not all of it, but like a good like some of it like on just like enjoying myself and celebrating this like life-changing thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like okay, dumb things I would buy.
Yeah, name some dumb things that you would invest
things.
in.
Hang on. Because the thing is, like if I bought a house, I'd want to furnish it and make it all.
Yeah, you gotta make it look nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit I would probably like get like. I know what I'd do. One thing if for anyone who doesn't know, among the stacked guys, I'm the only one who doesn't collect movies because I never started doing it.
Yeah.
And I know that and the thing is, I'm always so tempted to start it because especially when I walk by a cool Criterion and I'm like.
But you're like, if I start now, then it won't stop.
It's the thing. If I start one, I will never stop.
Yeah.
So I have to restrict myself, otherwise. Yeah, and it's expensive. And
you got a tiny shelf in that apartment.
Exactly. So I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna have to build like a library for all of it, and like, so like that's one thing I would do. I'd probably start collecting movies again, or start collecting movies. Period. Yeah, I would just deck out my place, fill it with like whatever the fuck I want. I'd get like I'd probably get like Coca-Cola on tap, at my place. Just like have just have like someone bring a barrel in every week.
Yeah.
Just like dumb shit like that.
That.
Whatever it is I could possibly want. I'd have an aquarium, put a great white shark in there. I don't know.
What? Chris, but then you got to think about you got to pay for the water bill for that aquarium, and that money might run out.
That's true. I don't know. I'd probably maybe not a great white shark.
Yeah, what if the glass breaks and he fucking comes at you?
What about you, Ethan? What would you spend your money on?
Okay, so I trolled Brandon a lot today with what I would buy, and it was making him really angry that he had to go to Twitter to call out my spending behaviors, but I was just doing it to mess with him. Okay, first of all, I don't think I would buy a mansion. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to buy a mansion. And that's what I told Brandon today. I was like, I'm going to buy a mansion, But then you gotta think, like, this money...
That's a lot of maintenance.
It's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of money. All right, first thing, just like you, pay off all my debts, student loans, any debts my family had.
Yeah.
I think I would also, I think I think I would give a bit of money to like friends and stuff to get them out of their own troubles, raise all ships, share the wealth, as they say. I'd think of, I'd save some money, and I would learn how to invest more, because I would want to get like a huge chunk of money that I could actually like make a big difference with,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to I want to live comfortably, Everyone's like, what? Socialist Ethan over here also wants to live comfortably like a capitalist? I don't know, guys. It's $1 billion,
Yeah.
50 million changes you.
No, for real. Like let's be real. I like look like Ethan and I are very much like. This sounds bad. Like, okay, okay, it's not bad, but like I know there might be people who might have like different views on this, but like Ethan and I like in the political spectrum. Oh boy, we're getting political now.
We are quite left leaning.
Yeah, we're relatively left leaning. Ironically, for me as well, considering I'm from Hong Kong and not the fondest of what's going on there. I'll just say that.
Well, that's a whole.
But that's different.
That's totalitarian communism.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But sorry. Anyway, more to the point. Like, with that said, like, absolutely, we'd contribute. But let's be real. Would you spend every dollar giving back to this planet that hasn't done much for you? Probably not every dollar. I'd want to enjoy my fucking life. Are you kidding me?
I would invest money into my community. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying like Los Angeles County. You know, the people in the community that matters to me. You know.
Yeah.
Or like the people that really need it. You know, I feel like, you know what? One thing I'd do is I'd fix Flint's water. You know, I keep hearing that like Flint has dirty water. That's just been going on my whole life. I bet 20 million could fix that. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know,
well,
something like
that. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know how
knows?
That shit runs.
But that's why I would also want to learn how to invest and make this like grow this money, so I could continue to have this. Because now you have a responsibility of money and power. Let's show what you could do with it. You know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the life we live in, you got to play the game. You know, and the game.
Yeah.
The game is the market, and if you want to make difference, play the game by its rules, and then when you have power, you can change it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that would be my strategy. But in terms of like, okay, that stuff aside, we're talking about stuff that just personal stuff that would make you happy, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would get a house. I wouldn't get an apartment. I want a house. I want a backyard. I want a pool. I definitely want a pool.
A car.
Not a new car. I'm fine with. I'd be fine with my Honda Fit for the rest of my life. I'm not joking. I love my Honda Fit. I would get. I would make sure that car is in ship shape though. You know.
Dude, you should go get it. Like you should go take it to the shop and get everything decked out.
Yeah.
You know
should I get some NOS in it? You know, like
get NOS and get flame decals on the side.
Flame decals. I'd probably get some cool rims for it though. You know, like I'd probably swap out the bumpers, like make them white, and then maybe like some red gold rims or something like that.
Yeah, you should get those tires that with the rims like they have like spinners in them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. But I probably would. People in Japan do use my car for drift racing. You know.
Oh really?
Yeah, Honda Fits are quite popular, but I have the automatic. They use the stick shift, obviously, because I feel like that's better, like shifting gears for that thing.
Yeah,
but maybe I'd get invested in that. You know, put my Honda Fit into the racing game. No, but I have a pool, fix up the car, backyard. I get a dog. I get a dog of my own. A Labrador. I don't care what color it is. I love white labs, brown labs, black labs, yellow labs. I just love labs. I would get, I would deck out one hell of a movie room, you know? I'd make a fucking library. Let's see. I don't know. I feel like I would also want like I would want an arcade machine. I want to buy a Donkey Kong arcade machine. That's always been like a dream of mine, is just like, just one of those classic original Donkey, because it's my favorite arcade game, Donkey Kong. Because I love the box art around it. I love the game itself. Or the arcade cabinet art, I should say. I'd get me one of those. Is someone here? Hold on a sec.
Uh-oh.
Hello? Brandon? What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this might be the last I ever see of him. Looks like this is the Chris show now.
Going, like,
never mind, he's back.
Crazy. I could have sworn I heard the door close, and I thought I heard Brandon's voice, but he's not here. Why would he be here anyways? He still has another hour of his class. Anyways, I thought he was gonna like surprise us or something. I don't know. So what was I saying? Arcade cabinet. Where would you live?
Ooh,
You know, because
that's
now
a good question.
now you have the decision to live. Oh, and one last thing, I would use money to just to travel abroad for maybe like a year or 2 years. You know,
Yeah.
before investing in that house, I'd probably put away like 2 million to just travel.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
I've
for
always
me, I
wanted
would
to do like
ooh.
Japan to Egypt and just take out all of Asia because I've never been to Asia, I've never been to Africa. Just check out
That'd
all
be
of
fun.
that. What's in there?
Yeah, like I can imagine you not running, like riding the coast of Asia, like going from
That's
like
exactly what I
from
wanna do.
Japan to South Korea, along China, down to Hong Kong, Thailand,
Singapore.
Philippines, Singapore, like
Yeah.
and then you work your way west towards
I
like
want to go to
India.
India, and then I'd want to check out the Middle East. Like, I'd want to go to what's it called? What's that? Why am I forgetting? It's the city with the tallest building.
Oh, so UAE,
It's UAE.
United,
Whatever.
Dubai.
Dubai. Thank you. Yeah, Dubai.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that would be so sick. You know what's something I've always wanted to do? It's a
What?
stupid thing. I've always wanted to go to like the Nile River and stand in it
Yeah.
and just say out loud, "I'm in the Nile."
I'm in denial. Yeah, you can't stand. Oh, I guess you could. I thought you meant stand right in the middle of the Nile. I was like, I think it's deeper than that. And there's like gators in it. I don't know. What if you did that and that's how you die? You're like, I'm in denial. Alligator comes out. He was in denial.
I would live like, oh man, that's hard because like, I have like footing here, but I have footing in Hong Kong. But would I want to go to Europe? Would I want to go wherever? Like, I don't know. But probably the U.S. I feel like so far my life has been set here really nicely, but you never know. Probably would move to a nicer area.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, that's what I would do with the money.
I would get a place in LA because my social life is here. I want to be around my friends, and then I think I would get like a little timeshare in like Tokyo.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be good to have like a little something, like a
just like a little apartment, just like right in the heart of the city, with a nice view.
Yeah.
That I could just go to and just like relax and stuff whenever I wanted to,
Yeah.
I don't think people would be like, I would retire. I don't think I could retire, I think I need to work. You know what I mean?
I need like something to be.
I need something. I just need to do something. Hell, I could just freelance and work on movies forever. One thing that I did think of that would be fun is like, what if we all won the Powerball, and then what if we all invested in our own production company?
That would be pretty cool.
Because we got most of the bases covered in our friend group. We got a director, we got sound, cinematographer, we got visual effects.
We create. What if we like really did pull it all together? We made the most expensive movie ever created.
Ever made. Well, no, yeah,
we could if we all really pulled it together.
$1 billion movie. I think there's only been,
300 something mil. It's Pirates, right? I think it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Was that the most expensive movie?
I think Stranger Tides was 380.
Wasn't? I think both of the last Avengers movies were both $1 billion. Like they both made up $1 billion in production like cost. I don't know, but maybe like single movie, it was probably Pirates. Yeah, if we made, what would you do for like if your budget was $1 billion and like you have to spend $1 billion to make this whole movie?
We film in space.
You film in space. We shoot on the moon.
Yeah, shoot on the moon. That would be so sick.
I think it'd take more than $1 billion to shoot on the moon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, in that case,
because we'd have to get there. I don't know. I'd buy Twitter. I'm just kidding.
Buy Twitter.
Buy Twitter. Free speech. No, I'm just kidding. But nobody can impersonate me. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like. Oh, also, I talked about this with Brandon too, and he tweeted about this. He kind of took my idea because I proposed it to him. I would make my own theater.
Yeah, I
I'd start
probably
my
would
movie
too.
theater.
I'd probably start a movie theater.
Something like the new Bev, where it's just like, I feel like Tarantino has some control over what's played there.
Yeah.
I would just like, I would play new movies that I'm interested in, and then I would like also have, and those new movies could be, blockbusters or indies. And then I'd just play like classics, movies that I've always wanted to see on the big screen. I would want it to be a small theater, because I like small, comfy theaters. I wouldn't want it to be a multiplex.
Yeah.
And I would have a nice like snack bar and restaurant as part of it too. You could separately go to like after the movie. Like, what if you want to grab dinner and like talk about the movie? You could go there. I'd call it the Stacked Plex. It'd just be the Stacked Theater. I don't know. What would you, if you were in charge of a movie theater, Chris? What would you do?
Ooh. Like, kind of similar to you, I'd probably screen a lot of movies that I've always wanted to see, or just movies I really like and would want to share with people. I'd I don't know. So for something special, I don't really know exactly, but I know I would want to like deck it out. I'd want to have like a ton of like really cool, like like I'd love to have like costumes from movies on display there, and stuff like that. Like I'd deck it out for sure.
I think that'd be. I feel like that's also sort of like, I think Tarantino's got it good, where he's got a good end. He got famous, he made his movies, and now he just wants to show people movies,
Yeah.
So he got his own theater. That's like, and I think Kevin Smith is doing that too now. Like Kevin Smith just bought his own theater. What a great end game to like to be famous in movies,
Yeah.
If I ever got famous, I'm not really asking to be famous in movies, but if that ever happened, I would use that clout to cash in on a theater. And like people would go for the novelty of being like, "Oh, it's this famous guy's theater," but then they'd also see good movies,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. That's just some money talk, Powerball. Do you trust Justin to give us our money if we win big?
Okay, here's the thing. I thought about this. I would not be like terribly surprised if Justin like did the thing where like he went in on this deal with all of us, but bought his own ticket, like his own separate ticket.
And that's the ticket?
And or either that is the ticket or he swaps them.
Oh my God.
And like is he that much of a fucker?
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's that much of a fucker. He is honorable. This is the guy
who dressed up as Santa one year and got us all presents.
He
even
is
though
honorable.
That wasn't required. He's an honorable guy. I think I trust him the most.
Yeah, of all the bunch, I think he would he's the one who won't screw people over because Justin is a very principled human, even though he's a huge fucker.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know Justin Bulaleo, our good friend, he's an honorable person, but he's a huge fucker. Wow. What a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Powerball. I don't know. That's just the thing that's been on my mind today.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up the show with one more thing. What's one more thing we can think of that we can talk about?
What's new in life lately? I don't know.
Oh, that's actually good. Because I think next episode, not this one, but the next one will be my last episode recorded in La Palma, California.
Oh wow, look at you.
Which is so exciting. I'm moving to Hollywood, California.
Woo!
I'm finally gonna be up there. Thank God. I'm sorry to the townspeople of La Palma, California. Your city fucking sucks. I hate it here. Brandon loves it. I'm no longer be living with Brandon, so he He can't come into my room whenever we disagree and torment me. He's gonna have to drive 40. He's gonna have to drive up 40 minutes to do so now. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm at a place where I can finally live comfortably on my own, which is good. Thanks to my work. Um, and I found a really nice place that I can set up my own thing. And I think it's gonna be good. I'm really excited now. I'm 15 minutes away from you, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm 15 minutes away from you. I'm probably 20 minutes away from Joey. I'm 20 minutes away from my friend Sasha. And then I'm 10 minutes away from my friend Ben.
Oh, all right. Yeah. You're almost like your main like social circles are pretty like close to you now. Well,
Yeah.
will be close to you now.
They will be close to me. Everyone but Brandon. So sorry, Brandon.
Hey,
but
don't worry, Brandon.
He'll make the drive. He'll make the drive.
No, yeah, he will.
On his days off. The exciting stuff is happening to him. I mean, that he's moving up the ranks at Knott's Berry Farm.
Dude, sooner or later, that dude is. I guarantee you, like if he sticks this shit out, if he really goes for this, I wouldn't be surprised if in like by the time he's like 60, 70, he'll be like that old fuck with the suit and the top hat with a cane walking around and be like, "Oh, welcome to my park, children. Come on my rides.
Welcome to my farm. Ew, welcome to my farm." Yeah, that dude in charge of a theme park is good. It would be crazy.
That would be
if Brandon ever gets in charge of a theme park. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do think of all people, Brandon has the sensibility to hit that well. So long as he has people to make sure everything's safe. But like I think he he has a good sense for like fun rides and food and or like like carnival kind of food, you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'd do all right with that. But
I think the one thing we disagree on theme parks, I think he'd bring the rides. I know he'd bring the good rides. But he and I just don't see eye to eye on the importance of theming, I feel. That's one of my main problems with coasters. Maybe it's just because I've grown up as a Disney kid, and only going to Disney parks. Is like I need something to visually entertain me while I'm having this fun time on a ride, which is it's not really the case at Knott's, I'd say the only like ride that's like visually pleasing is like the log ride, that's the only really big themed thing. Everything else is and like the Jaguar coaster, which is like it goes through like that big pyramid once, but like he's never seen the importance of theming in rides, so I'd hold him to that as a little favor to me, because I just think theming is just what makes a theme park. I like being transported to like, a world.
Ethan, 1 second, sorry. Han, talk.
Hello.
Okay, for some reason, every time you talk, it's like really loud static. Wait, talk right now.
Can you
hear that?
No, I don't.
Can you hear all of that static? Okay, never mind. Wait, talk.
Hello.
It is literally like you open your mouth and it literally sounds like.
Holy shit! Hold on.
Talk now.
Turn down. Is this
okay?
You're good. If I turn on my volume.
Okay, can you hear me?
Wait, hello.
Okay,
hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
Okay. I don't know why. That was weird.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. little technical difficulty at the end there. I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, I just heard like
this behind the scenes.
When Ethan would talk. But who knows?
Maybe it'll come up. We'll see how it sounds in the edit. But yeah, I don't know. I think theming is a very important. I like how now we're just going to be talking about theme parks, even though Brandon's not here. I think he's here. That's something we can have fun with.
Okay.
Let's talk about something Let's talk about stuff that Brandon's really passionate about, and that he always wants. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
A couple of like.
Chris, what's your take on Doctor Who?
The big ones that have stuck with me are the ones with the crying angels, because that's a infamously scary episode, and then Weeping Angel. Sorry, I think that's what it's called. And then another episode's the one where they pick up like Van Gogh and take him to modern day and show him like how loved he is now. And that's a very moving episode. And I thought that was great. But other than that, nah, it's just not for me. But I don't talk. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. Like, its world building seems really cool, you know? And like, it's the longest. I think Brandon was telling me it's like the longest running television show, not by episode count, you know, um, but just in time because it started in the '60s and still going on, you know. Um, it just had a lot of time for world building. It's just like it. I don't know. Maybe the Britishness of it, you know. I'm joking. I'm jokingly an infamous British hater, but like, I don't know. There is just something about like the Britishness of it all that's just like, it feels a little corny to me, you know. Uh, and it's a bit, Doctor Who's campy, but I don't know if I could get. I don't think I can take camp in like. There's 800 episodes of Doctor Who. I don't think I can take that much camp, you know. I'm fine if like a couple episodes are campy, but like it seems like the whole thing.
No, yeah, I get that.
Is a little just. That's a lot of camp. I don't know if I can take it. And I drove up to LA with Brandon the other day, and he laid down the whole Doctor Who spiel to me. You know, we were talking. I was asking him a bunch of questions about Doctor Who on the ride up, and it seems very detailed. And like, I guess there is some like tragic, like, and horrific moments that happen in the show, and like, I don't know. Have you ever been invested in something
Star
like
Wars?
that that's like so expansive? You know, because
What else could
that's
come?
an 800 episode
Skyrim.
show.
I
I
went
think
to a
that's
big,
like the
big,
only
big
thing that comes
Skyrim phase.
close.
There was like
I don't know.
audiences. I kid you not. There was probably a 3-month phase
Oh,
in my
yeah.
life growing up where I lived as my character in Skyrim more than I lived in real life. Yeah. Yeah, I was a
Really?
huge Skyrim person
See, this
growing
is
up.
something
Like,
I never knew
loved
about you.
that world.
And now that's like
But like beyond that, Halo, I guess.
that's insane.
Video games tend to absorb me a lot, especially like the good ones.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. Like, I think the only thing I've ever like totally invested myself in terms of like time are video games, you know? Like, I would say like the Sonic franchise is something that I know so much about, you know, because I played every mainline game, and I've played practically almost every spin-off game in that franchise. And I know all the characters, I know all the stories that happen in every single game. Even if they suck ass, I'll play through them all, you know? Like Sonic 06, I've played through that whole game painfully. Mario, you know, I've played almost every Mario game, you know? Even though that's not like a big, massive, expansive lore, you know? It's like literally the same story every game, but like, I still spend a lot of time with that. You know, Zelda, I have spent so many hours in Breath of the Wild, you know, being invested in that. Animal Crossing, I bet the summer, you know, I think the summer of 2013, I lived my life through Animal Crossing more than I lived my real life, you know, just like you with Skyrim. Animal Crossing New Leaf, I lived my life more in that game. I put in so many hours. And same with New Horizons, because I had nothing else to do because COVID, you know. That game came out like 2 weeks after COVID hit, and that just defined my spring and summer of 2020. Which is like, that's a crazy time. Doesn't it feel like a whole life like ago? Your life in quarantine and COVID? Like, I honestly, it's super tragic, but I somewhat do kind of look back at the time and
it was like
a little bit of fun.
There was a simplicity to it.
Just because it was different.
In a way, if that makes sense.
You know?
Like of course, a lot of terrible things and like a lot of like, you know, like adverse things that happened. But like at the same time, like being in that COVID era, especially while we were in school, like as isolating as it was, there was also like it gave us opportunity to like do things that we don't usually do, you know? And like like this. No, me neither.
Like
I don't
this.
think so either. I don't think so
Stacked. Either. I don't think Stacked would have existed if it weren't for COVID. I'm gonna be honest, because I think if we were still in school, I think we'd still be caught up in projects and stuff like that. That we'd be like, oh, we just don't have a time for a podcast. You know, it was just like when we tried to record video commentaries.
Yeah,
we were just like, all right, we recorded it, but now we don't know what to do with it because we gotta move on to the next thing. And then we would have graduated from college. Then we would have had jobs and everything, and that just would have been that, you know. But now, like when COVID started, we're like, okay, we seriously have nothing to do for the whole summer, you know. Let's see. This is now our shot to do something. Let's try to figure this out, you know, because we said we've always wanted to record a podcast, and that's what happened. But like, I don't know, like, I feel. It's like I feel a weird nostalgia for quarantining at home.
Dude, I remember I loved quarantining at the
or
K.
quarantining.
Like, I really enjoyed
at
it.
Snet One and
Just hanging out, watching movies.
yeah, and I loved going over to your place and like, you know, and just hanging out.
Larva Island, Rob
we watched
Schneider,
a lot
that
of,
kind of thing. Yeah.
You know,
Cars
Rob
2,
Schneider
yeah.
movies. We watched
The good old
Larva
days.
Island, Cars 2, you know, or the night when
Oh yeah.
when Tori
Yeah,
came
I have
back
a
from
video
that
of
one
that
set,
somewhere
and
on
she
my
had
phone.
that giant cake, and you put your face in the cake, you know, and just
Yeah.
and the madness, and you had that little like laundry cart that you'd sleep in and stuff like that.
Dude, that place was great.
Dude,
loved that
I
place.
get so nostalgic over your K apartment.
Yeah,
like,
Tori and I did such a good job with it.
It was like the coziest
I think,
fucking
like,
place ever.
My roommatehood with Tori worked really well.
Yeah. I know, you two like operated as roommates so fucking well, you know? I don't know. It was just that was just a
and
very
also, like,
successful apartment, which is why
so many fun
like your
memories
place
with
was
it.
the place to
Also,
go.
I love that entire
know?
place was mine for like half a year because Tori didn't move in until senior year, but I had that for the second half of junior year because I got moved from Panther Village. Yeah, I had a whole guest room for no reason in college.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
But it was nice. It was very nice. And like you know, Snet was good too
so much fun.
during quarantine. You know, we had our Bill and Ted party where we watched Bill and Ted and
I passed
our
out
Hubie Halloween
midway
night where
through.
we watched Hubie Halloween and Norbit. That was you fucking passed out. Everyone passed out except for me. They either left. I remember Justin, Joey,
Do you
and
remember
Tori
me?
left. And
Do you remember me like waking up as Norbit was
you
going?
and Brandon passed out, and I was just left alone.
Yeah, and I remember. Do you remember what I said? And then
you woke up.
I remember
during the
waking
water
up
slide
like
scene.
hazy as hell because I was like, "What the hell?" And I open my eyes and I see what's on screen. I'm like, I remember going, "This isn't Hubie. Roll it back." And then as I say roll it back, I pass out again. And I wake up. It's like 6:30 in the morning.
And I was like, oh, there goes
God.
Chris.
Yeah, it was a simpler time, you know.
Oh man, it was such a simpler time where it was a time honestly where we just like, I think we valued our friendship with each other like so much more, you know, because it really was like it was special to see each other, even though we were so close to each other. It was so special that like we were all healthy and able to see each other, you know. There were a few scares here and there, you know, not from each other, not because we saw each other, but just like
no, definitely, like,
you know, the infamous
I do look. It's weird.
Scare.
I do look back on like that era of my life and like with a weird fondness because there was it was like because I think especially like because we were all going into senior year soon, and you know we had a lot of shit on our mind and all this stuff, you know, and weirdly enough, like the pandemic, as horrible as it was also an opportunity to slow down almost, you know, and kind of take inventory of the things that do matter to you, you know, and like in a way, like I'm like I would like to live life more like that, you know, in the future as like things settle. But it's hard because like you know people got jobs, responsibilities. I got school.
Yeah.
You know that shit takes fucking forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, we've got like
I mean, both you and I, we got relationships now.
Yeah.
After You know, we were just single guys living out on our own in quarantine. You
And just
know,
like had fun.
we didn't have to worry
Yeah.
about that stuff or someone else. We
But
just had to worry about ourselves and like
yeah,
what's going on in our world. You
it
know,
was a
yeah.
simpler time. Yeah, and like
I don't know. It's just like it was a simpler time, and just like I feel like here's one thing I noticed: there weren't
no,
there
and
weren't
like a
a
lot
lot
of the
of like
movies where
COVID
COVID is
movies made
brought up or like
during that
implied
time.
to exist in the world of that movie. Like Drive My Car, one scene at the end. There was another one, kind of recently, I think.
Yeah.
There's an
Mm-hmm.
there's another movie that acknowledged the COVID pandemic. No, did it talk about it?
Did you see 3,000 Years of Longing?
Okay.
It did. It was like it was a post-COVID movie where it was like she's like lecturing at like a campus or something, and like only like I would say like three, like maybe like half the people were wearing masks in the audience and half weren't, and I was like, oh, that's a very like interesting like post-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
you know, post but not totally post-COVID like snapshot, you know, where there's some people wearing masks, but then others aren't, you know, but there's still
Yeah.
a big decent amount because you know. I mean, you know this, Chris.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
people
in
wear masks when
freshman
they're
year,
sick,
like
in like every other culture besides the
I
US.
had like
you know?
I think I had like a cold or something like one day, and
You
like
would wear masks.
like it was bad enough that I wanted to wear a mask, but not so bad that I would skip class for it. So like I put it on, and I remember like going to class and like getting a couple of like weird looks.
Yeah.
Man, I remember in my head just being like, "Oh, you fuckers! Like I have half of mine to take off this mask because this is for
Yeah.
you." Like, but.
Yeah. And now it's like it's now we had to
Yeah.
learn that way of like I
That's a
mean
good way to
most of
do it.
us, not
Yeah.
not all of us. We've now learned that like if you're sick, that's like a really that's a good way to do it, and it's a very courteous thing to do. It's like if you feel sick, wear
Yeah.
a mask, you know? And just like I know that's what
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
skip
do, you
whatever
know,
it is
if
you're
I'm
doing.
sick,
Yeah.
but not like so
Mhm.
sick like that I don't have to leave. Yeah, I'll just wear a mask, you know? But yeah, that's fucking crazy. And like will
Like
that
what, the
ever happen
pandemic?
again? Do you think? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I like
Yeah, not to this scale.
if before the pandemic, I would have never
Um,
imagined something like that would ever happen, you know? Yeah. Cuz I feel like we've just like people have been too traumatized by that
Yeah.
like I think
I
they'll
doubt, but at
unfortunately
the same
push
time,
through it
you know,
if
you
something
never
ever that
fucking
big
know.
ever happens again.
But you know, that's how it is.
Yeah.
The dude abides, which brings us full circle.
The dude and which brings us
We're here.
full fucking circle that like even though all that shit happened, you know, we rolled, we're still here. We're here, you know. Just think there was oh my god. There
Yeah.
was so many things that we stressed about.
Oh, absolutely
during
not.
COVID,
Not at
you
all.
know,
Not in the slightest.
that they don't even matter now. You know? Like I stressed so
Yeah, I
much about
remember that.
moving into SNET 2. That was during COVID. And that doesn't even
Yeah.
matter now because now I'm 2 houses. I'm gonna be 2 places after that one, you know, which seems so crazy. And I just remember. I remember the day I got the eviction notice, quote unquote eviction notice. It wasn't an eviction note. We weren't like evicted. We just messed up with a lease, and we had our lease end 3 months earlier than we wanted it. And we forgot that we had it that way. So I got the 30-day notice to move out, you know? I got that in the mail, and I was just like, what? You know? Like, none of us were even ready. And I was just like, how am I supposed to tell, like, my roommates this, you know? So I called my mom down, like, what am I supposed to do? Because I feel like
Drastically
I was
affect
holding,
someone's
like,
life.
this,
Yeah.
this information that will change their lives. Yeah. But now, look at us. Like,
Yeah.
me, Sasha, and Ben, we're, like, living in 3
Yeah.
different places now.
Do you remember
and
like
chilling,
early pandemic? Like we
you
were
know?
working on like Like at one point
I
we
don't
were
know.
like going to class on Zoom and like fucking we did our thesis. Look at that now. That shit is on YouTube. That's all it is. Like
We did
it's
our
just a video.
that shit's on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But at the same time, I'm glad it is. I'm glad it's a video that, I think I just noticed that
Nice.
like my thesis now is up like to like 830 views.
No one. I'm sorry. Yeah, no one. No one will read
if
it.
my
No one
thesis
fucking
was a
reads papers.
paper, I don't
Yeah.
even think no one would have read that, No one would have fucking read that. I don't even know. I think my parents,
Yeah.
maybe my sister would have read that.
Yeah.
You and Brand would have, because you would have had to, because to proofread.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't think like Joey or Tori or Justin would read my thesis. No. And
Yeah.
that's just like
I love the
that's why I'm so
disparities
thankful
of
that it was
views
a video
on our
essay,
video essays. You got 824. I got 150. Brand's got 34. But then again, I feel like that is representative of the popularity of the movies.
34. Well, that's true. I think it's the popularity of the movies. And Brandon uploaded his thesis like 2 weeks earlier than on his own channel. So there's 2 videos of Brandon's thesis. I hate to call him out again. He's not here to defend himself, but Brandon should have just uploaded on Stacked when everyone was ready.
Yeah.
But he was, he was so eager to get us out. That's fine. It's fine. Just saying.
Just saying.
Maybe you would have been in the triple digits if you just did one channel. Just saying. Hey, just saying. Just calling you out there. But yeah, that was.
No, yeah. Man. I remember she would get like. I remember one thing she loved about me is like I had like some level of experience with editing, and I love synchronizing cuts to music. And she was like, how do you time it so well? Like I can't do that. And I'm just like,
yeah,
it is what it is. What can I say?
I remember.
Yeah.
She was so impressed that I did that I rapped for one of the assignments. Remember that? Where it wasn't even my turn to present my assignment, my turn that week, but she's like, Ethan, you have to present yours. And I'm like, oh no. For those of you not aware, like we had to do like just like these video editing exercises in preparation for our thesis, and one of them was we just had to like read a passage or like some poetry while editing a clip from a movie. And I just like I did a passage from one of my favorite songs by Rav, and I rapped it and I edited it to it, and she was just like, that's crazy. And like I don't know, and it was just fun to see everybody's
some of those editing exercises I look back on like, what the hell was that? Like do you remember the one where like we had to take so we had a scene
like what the hell were we
cut
doing?
Up the shots and then equalize their length by stretching the film? Do you remember that? And it's just like so then it's like, and there's like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had to stretch the clips out. We're like,
and I'm just following instructions.
And then we had to write about like our authorial intent behind that too. And I was just like, I just did it. I don't know what to tell you. I just did what you told me to do. And it wasn't with the best. Like there was like 3 films we could do our assignments around, and they weren't like, I don't know. They weren't like, they were all right.
None of them were terrible.
But at least they weren't like bad movies. I don't know. But yeah, that was a time.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like we've.
All right, well, guys, that concludes today's episode 15. Of Ethan and Chris Roland duo. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, this very peaceful episode without the man, the myth, the legend that is Mr. Winchester. He'll be back, don't you worry. You will never escape that man fully.
The chaos.
Much like us. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a good week, guys. Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.